Hello, Mas Lily. My name is Riviera Allegra, and today I would like to present my research proposal entitled Global Digital Platforms and Economic Inequality in Southeast Asia. So nowadays, digital platforms has become an important part of our daily lives. We use them for shopping, transportation, food delivery, digital payments, and even finding jobs. In Southeast Asia, the digital economy has grown rapidly over the past few years, creating many new opportunities for businesses and consumers. However, behind this rapid growth, there's an important issues that deserve more attention. Although digital platforms provide economic opportunities, not everyone benefits equally. Many small businesses, gig workers, and people living in areas with limited internet access still face significant challenges in participating in the digital economy. This situation raises an interesting question. Are digital platforms really helping create inclusive economic growth, or are they actually reinforcing existing inequalities? Based on this issue, my research question is to what extent do global digital platforms reinforce economic dependency and inequality in Southeast Asian economies? To answer this question, my research has four main objectives. First, I want to analyze the relationship between global digital platforms and economic inequality in Southeast Asia. Second, I want to identify how these platforms may create new forms of economic dependency. Third, I want to examine how unequal digital access affects people participation in in the regional digital economy. Finally, I hope this research can contribute to discussion in international political economy regarding digital globalization and the unequal distribution of economic benefits. For the literature review, I used several recent studies. The first study by Vikram and colleagues explained that digital transformation has accelerated economic growth in Southeast Asia, but it has also increased inequality in terms of digital access, digital literacy, and economic participation. The second study by Wati argues that unequal access to technology creates differences in income opportunities within the platform economy. Another study by Chiare provides a different perspective. The author finds that the digital economy can reduce income inequality through entrepreneurship and financial inclusion. However, these positive effects depend on the level of economic development and institutional capacity. The International Finance Corporation also highlights gender inequality in Southeast Asia's digital economy, showing that women entrepreneurs often operate smaller businesses and generate lower sales than men. Finally, Robinson and his colleagues introduced the concept of digital inequalities 3.0. They argue that the growing power of large technology companies may increase inequality because digital platforms control data, algorithms, and market access. Although these studies discuss digital inequality, only a few examine this issue using an international political economy perspective, especially by connecting digital platforms with dependency relationships in Southeast Asia. This is the research gap that my study aims to address. The main theory used in this research is dependency theory. Traditionally, dependency theory explains how developing countries often depend on more developed countries for technology, capital, and economic development. In today's digital era, this concept can also be applied to global digital platforms. Companies that own digital platforms control technological infrastructure, algorithms, user data, and digital marketplaces. Meanwhile, businesses and workers in Southeast Asia increasingly rely on these platforms to reach consumers and generate income. Although local users create economic value through their labor, labor, products, and online activities, much of the economic power and profit remains concentrated within the platform companies themselves. From the perspective of dependency theory, this creates a modern form of dependency, where countries participate actively in the digital economy but have limited control over the systems they rely on. This unequal relationship may contribute to persistent economic inequality across the region. For the methodology, this research uses a qualitative approach because it focuses on understanding social and economic relationships rather than measuring statistical correlations. The study focuses on Southeast Asia and uses secondary data from academic journals, international organization reports, government publication, digital economy reports, and other relevant documents. The collected data will be analyzed using thematic analysis. I will identify recurring themes related to digital inequality, platform dependency, and unequal economic participation, and then interpret these findings using dependency theory. Finally, regarding the feasibility of this research, I believe this study is realistic and achievable. I choose Southeast Asia as the research scope so the discussion remains focused and manageable. Since this research uses secondary data, I can access most of the required information through academic journals, reports from organizations such as the World Bank and the International Finance Corporation, government publications, and other reliable sources. The research method is also appropriate for the available data, and the timeline I have prepared provides enough time for literature review, data collection, analysis, and writing. Therefore, I believe this research can be completed within a reasonable time frame. In conclusion, this research aimed to understand whether the rapid expansion of global digital platforms creates more equal economic opportunities or instead reinforce dependency and inequality in Southeast Asia. I hope this study can contribute to the discussion of digital globalization from an international political economy perspective and provide insight for future research and policy making in the region. Thank you very much for your attention.